Annalice, Justine, and Molly.
Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a great battle. This is the motto of the man we had the chance to interview. Finding someone for this speech was not an easy task for us, but with the help from Dr. Phil, we had the opportunity to meet a great man. Scott Lundberg has achieved many things in his life and been many places. Today we are going to tell you a little bit about Scott, his family, his spirituality, and a little bit about the different places that he's traveled.
Scott is a clinical psychologist with a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. When asked why he had chosen his career as a clinical psychologist in marriage and family counseling, he chuckled and said, "Every person that chooses to major in psychology and therapy is doing so in order to understand their family." Yeah. This is Kai, and this is Scott's son that he raised, for the most part, in Italy. He is 23 years old and works at Evergreen State College. And seems to be, he and his dad are very devoted to each other. Okay. And this is, okay. This is his, this is Scott with his sister, Justine. Okay, sorry. Scott is the Dean of Students and counselor at the A1 High School, Alternative Individual High School, which is right across the street. It serves 9th through 12th grade students from the city of Lakewood, labeled as an other or alternative school. It provides a special curriculum offering a more flexible program of study than a traditional school. It is a high school that strives to keep at-risk teens in school rather than dropping out.
Scott graduated in 1973 from Lakes High School, located just down the road a little ways. He worked towards an associate degree at Pierce College, formerly Fort Steilacoom Community College, and moved to California to achieve his bachelor's degree at the campuses of UC Santa Cruz and UC Berkeley from 1975 to 1981. Scott returned to Washington, and in 1986, Scott was awarded his master's in marriage and family therapy from Seattle Pacific University. We asked Scott what his greatest challenge to getting to this point in his life as far as his career. He thought for a moment and said that he had learned by facing his challenges to enjoy the challenges. The challenge itself becomes the motivator, and for him the biggest challenge was getting through school. Scott said, "There is no one in my family, as far back as we can trace it, that graduated from high school, so there was no encouragement, there was no modeling." For Scott to graduate from high school was a big deal for his family, let alone receive an associate's degree, bachelor's degree, and go on to graduate school to receive a master's degree. His family was poor, so there was no money for college. He was traveling uncharted waters. As for his family's experience, and they didn't know quite how to encourage and support him, as they had no history with higher education.
Scott decided to go to California on a whim. He and his girlfriend at the time packed up their things into a U-Haul and headed out of town. It was very spontaneous. they didn't really have any plans other than to escape Washington, and that they knew that they were headed to a college town. They ended up in Santa Cruz, California. He got married at the age of 19. His bride was 18. He explained that when you get married that young, you are running away from something, and we were running away, both of us, from our families. Just wanted to be on our own, and it was sort of a socially acceptable way of running away, because we were getting married and being responsible and all that. He explained that his work with kids all day, and his son is 23, and he knows that none of them are ready to get married. In Scott's words, when you're 19, you don't know what you don't know what you don't know. Basically, you think you will know everything, but you don't. He was divorced after 20 years of marriage.
After California, Scott came back to Washington, worked, and did some writing, and had a paper published titled Spirituality and Addiction. He was sent to teach at Trinity College in Dublin, which he said was great. He fell in love with Europe, so when he came home, he decided he had to go back. And he began work as a supervisor at 4 clinics that where the therapist treated, they were Army dependents that had become harmfully involved in drugs. Those programs and those clinics covered the Mediterranean and Spain, and some were located in Sicily, Vicenza, Pisa, and Naples. He enjoyed the work and says that one of the best parts was that he lived on the Mediterranean and could go out and go swimming at any time of the day that he wanted to. He loved it. He said it was the best thing in the world. It was beautiful, and he raised his son over there. When asked about what he considered to be one of the most exciting things in his life, he said that there were many things, but as far as professionally, he felt that the one most exciting thing was presenting the paper that he had written, Spirituality and Addiction, to a group of Catholic nuns. And then he said, well, they weren't all nuns, just mostly nuns. It was just very interesting, their questions, their curiosities. It was very challenging. And Scott feels that the traveling he has done has been one of the most exciting things for him personally. During those travels, he has taken beautiful pictures of places like Egypt and Greece. In Egypt, he had a picture on the wall of his office that was of a young boy pulling a bull, a water buffalo bull, along, and he wasn't getting very far, but the picture was beautiful. It was very picturesque. He also had a picture of a old man in Greece, and it was just the man's face and the side of a wall, and it was just very, very beautiful.
When asked what the biggest learning experience in his life, Scott quite promptly replied, marriage and divorce. When learning about himself and, yes, children, he feels that he is in school all the time. Live is my school, so I learn a lot. Some teacher was telling him that she had been working on herself for so long and just wanted to be done with it. He said to her, well, that means you are alive. When you stop growing, then you die. We asked, do you have an idol or hero or someone you look up to? Scott has several. Father Henry Nouwen, who was an incredible, inspiring writer who integrated psychology and spirituality. He was a well-known author of works on spirituality. He studied psychology and psychiatry. He became a teacher at Notre Dame and a professor at Yale and Harvard Universities.